very good evening to you and many thanks for joining us. Tonight our focus is on the 10th National Assembly and how its composition, and by that I mean the incoming senators and members-elect will through legislations chart a new course, or a course I must say, for national development. My name is Nnamdi Odipo. We're live in Abuja. This is The Mandate. While the results of the National Assembly elections across several states were almost predictable, some were completely unexpected and surprising. That of Benue Northwest would qualify as one of those surprising results. Earlier today, I had the winner of that election, Senator-elect Titus, in the studio, and we talked about the elections, how he proved bookmakers wrong, and what he plans to do in the Senate, even as a green on. Former council boss, former aide to Governor Tom on local government and chieftaincy affairs, but now Senator-elect for Benue Northwest, Chief Titus Thathenge Zam. Welcome to The Mandate.
Thank you.
Not many outside of Benue thought you stood a chance against a sitting governor who wanted, and very strongly too, the same senatorial seats that you vied for. Not only were you, his former staff, the odds were, greatly stacked in his favor, and yet the elements seemed to have favored you. What is the story there?
Well, thank you. I don't know what you mean by saying the odds didn't favor me.
No, well, the odds were stacked in his favor.
Because it's a sitting governor.
And the elements favored you.
It's because anybody who would assess me from outside of Benue State would look at the position of the governor as such a big office. And then my humble self, coming from the background that I came from, having served him in the position of Special Advisor, Bureau of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, which was a cabinet position that ranked me in almost the same level with the commissioner. One would thought, he being my former boss, he would naturally, overrun me. But this thing called politics is not like that. It has to do with your level of connection with your community and your capacity to deliver the goods. So when the people of my senatorial district assessed me as an individual vis-a-vis my opponent, who is the governor, they found me a better person to represent them. And so whatever were the odds out there, it didn't matter to my constituents whose votes were supposed to determine who gets what. So they chose me. And so whatever calculations anybody may have had out there didn't matter to my people who have the ultimate decision to decide who will represent them at Abuja.
You may have cleverly answered our question, but you still did not spill any secret. You did not tell us the secret to your electoral victory.
No, the secret is simple. When I was given the ticket by my party, the All Progressives Congress, to run for this position, I didn't rest for one day. Okay. I campaigned vigorously because I knew that I had a formidable opponent. And so I didn't leave anything to chance. That's number one. Number two, I had an opponent that, by the ranking of the people of Benue State, didn't perform at all. And so the people were waiting for the opportune time to deal with him. And so when the elections came, it was like a referendum about his leadership, which by their judgment didn't merit any other position of authority. And so two reasons, his incompetence and then my hard work paid off. That's the secret, if you ask me.
Considering how, not as verbose as his friend in Rivers there, but considering how vibrant Governor Tom also is, one would have thought that...
I don't know what you mean by vibrance. Is it about the propaganda?
I'll give you an example.
About the propaganda.
It stands on security, for instance.
What security in Benue State? Okay. Look, under Governor Tom, the people of Benue State experienced the worst level of insecurity since the history of Benue State, which has to do with his quality of leadership. Otum was talking security. He wasn't securing the people. And so the people of Benue State, whom he had used the security rhetorics, the Fulani Herders crisis, to deceive them in 2019 to get his second term. After 4 clear years, one would expect that he would put in place the accurate security architecture to take care of the problems. Rather, the situation aggravated you know. So the people didn't find in him the required leadership to trust with another mandate. So the noise making about insecurity in Benue State did not add anything in terms of value to his aspiration. Rather, it was used against him because people got tired. Every now and then, you're talking about attacks. You're not doing anything concretely to address the challenge. So definitely you face the judgment of the people at the end of the day. That's what happened.
Okay, great. So now we've seen what played out in the elections.
Yes.
Let's move forward now because we're gradually heading out of the elections. And so, I mean, you're a senator-elect now. I'm sure you're considering how you'd hit the ground running when upon proclamation of the 10th National Assembly, as a matter of fact. How do you hope to boost your legislative effectiveness, considering the fact that you are a fresher at this level of governance? Forgive me, but some would not describe...
You are correct.
Yes, well, some would describe you as a greenhorn.
I am a first-time senator. And therefore, by the ranking and in Nigerian political parlance, I am a greenhorn. No doubt about that. But I am not a stranger to Nigerian politics. I have been a local government chairman twice at a very young age, at 33. I was already a local government chairman when my leader, the current Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Dr. George.
So you have somewhat of an executive legislative experience.
Yes.
Okay.
And so when Akume was governor of Benue State, I had the privilege of working under him 2 times as local government chairman. Thereafter, I became an active participant in Benue politics. I learned politics at his feet. And so at the level of Benue, I am not a greenhorn. But yes, you know, I have been around for quite a long time. And so the Abuja National Assembly politics is only different in terms of the fact that here you have a new environment. But when it comes to putting, dots to I and crossing T's, I have been around for quite a long time. And so I know that I am not going into a totally new terrain. What I need to do, and which I will rather do, is to up my game, talk to my colleagues, relate with them, lobby for projects and programs for my constituents back there in Benue State. There's nothing so secret and special about National Assembly politics. It has to do with creating the appropriate connections with your colleagues and lobbying them and being a team player. And that's what is needed. And then lobbying relevant government agencies to attract development to your own constituency. And I think that can be done easily. And given my own pedigree as someone who has, you know, been in public service, I have been a civil servant before in Benue State. I put in over 10 years in the state civil service before I resigned my appointment to participate in partisan politics. So, and then my training as a political scientist has also given me some leverage to be able to understand whatever environment I have found myself in. So I don't feel deeply challenged coming over to Abuja to represent my people. I think I'm equal to the task.
You know, in the space of 10 seconds, just now, in the space of 10 seconds, you used the word lobbying 4 times.
Yes.
I counted.
Yes.
Why is that an operational word at the National Assembly level?
Yeah, democracy is about talking to people, persuading them, getting them to appreciate your position, and then getting results at the end of the day. We are not coming to Abuja to fight. We are coming to discuss development. We're coming to discuss Nigeria. We're coming to discuss the unity of this country. And we're coming to discuss the economy and the well-being of the people of the country. And so everything put together means we're going to seek dividends of democracy for our people. And you can only do that by persuading your colleagues, talking to them, convincing them. That's what I mean by lobbying.
Okay.
So that you're able to win them over to your side and then attract whatever dividends of democracy that are valuable for
that makes a whole lot of sense, because I have spoken to some of your colleagues, even returning members, and just yesterday I spoke with 4-time Senator Senator Alero of Kebbi.
Okay, former governor.
Yes, former governor of the state. We talked about how politics is local.
Yeah.
And meaning that you glean off the aspirations of your people, and as a leader, as a senator or soon to be senator, that must have been the impression you created for them to have entrusted you with these mandates, the mandates that you now have. You know, but let me ask you something close to what I asked him as well, because when you use the word lobbying, some sort of sense in carrying out your function, and I do think that will play out largely, or still plays out largely at the National Assembly.
Yeah.
What happens when you're faced with a situation where you have an option to choose, one option to choose from two options that you're given? One overrides, one is of national interest and overrides the interest of your people, the people of Benue, you know, and the other is strictly for national interest. And okay, let's make it three options, and one is exclusively for the interest of Benue people, your constituents that you represent. Which option are you likely to go with when you're faced with such a conflict where you could, at the detriment of national interest, impede on a goal or target that would benefit your constituents?
No. National interest comes first. It is the aggregate of the components of what is called
even though you promised your people that you would always look out. Even though you promised your people that you would always look out for them.
Yes, but if there's no Nigeria, my people will not have peace. The people will not have a space to operate from. So Nigeria comes first. If I am to rank my priorities, I will rather insist that we protect the territorial integrity and the unity of this country first and foremost.
And at all times.
And at all times, so that we can now have the correct atmosphere to now seek development for our federating units. And so for me, Nigeria first, Benue State, and then my own immediate senatorial district in that order, order of importance, because there is a great interconnectivity between my senatorial district, my state, and the nation. None of them can operate in isolation.
In lobbying for whatever
none can operate in isolation.
In lobbying for whatever you're lobbying for your constituents, it must always align with national interest.
Yeah, that is it. Because there is no Benue State without Nigeria. And so Nigeria first, Benue second, and then my own senatorial district third. But as I earlier said, none of these units can operate in isolation of the other. There must be some form of harmony. So I don't see any conflict there. And at all times, this is what I have taken upon myself, and by virtue of my training as a social scientist, I know that there is need for that harmony in terms of trying to aggregate the interests of my people in line with the thinking at the center.
Let's expand that a bit and go beyond Senator-elect, or soon-to-be Senator Zam now, and bring in...
My friend, I'm already Senator-elect, so soon-to-be is not there.
Yes, Senator-elect. No, yes. I said soon-to-be Senator.
Yes, I'm already a Senator.
Okay, so Senator-elect for now.
The important thing is that on the 25th of February, my people came out and voted for me, and I'm already a Senator. And the INEC has also given me a certificate of return. So there is no matter of probability here.
No, that's not the point. The point is that we're just playing safe by the designation. The appropriate designation for now is Senator-elect.
Go ahead.
You will become Senator upon proclamation of the 10th National Assembly. That's when you become Senator. But then we were discussing about this whole agenda, national agenda, state interest and all of that. And I thought we could just expand the scope a bit. I'm not saying you speak for other senators that will be in the House, but just to give me a sense of what you're thinking, how best do you think the 10th National Assembly can optimize legislative impact for the generality, I beg your pardon, of Nigerians?
Yeah, look, there are certain critical issues that are confronting our country at the moment. First is the general atmosphere on security. Every part of this country has a security challenge. So you're setting an agenda already? So yes. So for me, I come from one of the local government areas in Benue State that is more or less the epicenter of the farmers' herders crisis. And if you go up north, you have in almost all the 19 northern states, there are various kinds of security challenges. And that is where my opponent, failed. He didn't understand that this country is having the general atmosphere on security. He took it as if it was a personal thing. And so for me, one of the issues are if the opportunity presents itself, I will insist that this country must address frontally is the issue of insecurity. My people have been displaced for over 7 years. I voted as an IDP person, as an internally displaced person. And I know the challenges that our people have gone through because of this situation. So for me, Nigeria needs to address this issue of insecurity first and foremost, across all the regions of this country. Secondly, the issue of the economy. You know, the inflation in the country has reached intolerable levels. You know, our people can't our naira has become more or less, I don't want to use certain words, but it has, you know, been devalued to a ridiculous level. I think there's a need for the new administration to see to it that our currency is strengthened, and then our productive sector of the economy is also, you know, recalibrated so that our people can have value for their money. And then the third issue will be the issue of agriculture.
Okay.
As a result of this issue of insecurity, many of our people who are farmers, for example, in Benue State, we are an agrarian society. Many of the people out there have stopped going to farm. So in a very short time, we're going to have a serious food insecurity in this country. And so these three critical areas will attract my you know, parliamentary agenda, as it were.
Please go. Let me let you land on that.
So those are the three critical areas that will attract my interest as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let me recap.
Yes.
Economy,
security,
agriculture.
Yes.
Three areas.
But guess what? I know one other
add,
area. I know one other area that would attract your attention.
Okay.
And I'm very sure it will. And that's because you just talked about tapping into experience.
Yeah.
And I know you are experienced in local government affairs and development as well.
Yeah.
So I won't be surprised or shocked that even at the national level, grassroots issues will pique your interest. Or am I mistaken?
No, you are correct. You are correct. You are correct. I was also going to talk about infrastructure.
Okay.
You know, going around the country. Yes, the Buhari administration has tried so much in the area of roads infrastructure. But then, beyond the state capitals, when you move into the hinterland, you will discover that many parts of this country are inaccessible, especially during rainy season. So there is a need for us to strengthen the local administration so that certain levels of development at the grassroots level can be taken care of by the local government authority.
Yeah.
And so that is also one area that requires very serious consideration by the incoming administration. I am aware that the subsisting administration tried to grant autonomy to local councils.
Yes, I was going to ask you where.
But that policy was frustrated somewhere along the line. I expect that Asewaju, the incoming president, will also
push an executive bill forward and
find a way of making sure that issue comes back to the Senate.
But legislatively, or maybe not legislatively. Now we know where you're leaning to. I deduce you're leaning towards full autonomy for local government.
Oh, yes.
Of course.
Oh, yes.
But how do you think we can, and you just made reference to the president-elect upon taking office, you would also hope that he would push this agenda. Do you see a way forward for this whole issue of local government financial autonomy? And, must it be legislatively? Can we perhaps use, let me pick your word again, lobby the state assemblies perhaps, so that we can get enough votes just for passage? But how can we do that?
No, there's nothing more than constructively engaging with the subnational tiers of government in this country. You know, our governors who have shown extraordinary interest in local government finances need to be sat down and spoken to in a manner that they too will appreciate. I don't think any serious-minded Nigerian governor will be happy with the level of underdevelopment of our local communities. So there is need for a deeper engagement with the governors and other stakeholders at the subnational levels. I think when that is done with single-mindedness, this local government autonomy can be achieved. And because it is a constitutional matter, state governors have always insisted that the Constitution provides for the State House of Assembly to make laws for the good governance of the state, including local governments. So the only way you can get the autonomy is by way of amendment of that provision of the Constitution. So it has to be done through a legislative process. And that is why speakers of the State House of Assembly take advantage in connivance with state governors to frustrate whatever efforts that are made at the center here. But as I earlier said, it's a matter of persuasion, a matter of constructive engagement with the stakeholders. And once they see that this is not a matter of trying to reduce the powers of the governor, they will also key in.
You know, earlier on you began by, or rather some minutes ago, you created some sort of template or agenda for the 10th National Assembly.
Yeah.
We're using your own agriculture, security,
Economy.
and the economy.
Yeah.
I'd like for you to set the template now on
Yeah.
the whole issue of leadership in terms of quality for the 10th National Assembly. I mean,
Yeah.
you and I have monitored the trends. We've
Yeah.
seen our leadership from the AIDS, the leadership torso of the AIDS Assembly to the somewhat relatively smooth leadership of the 9th Assembly, even though there are questions here and there about, you know. But in terms of prospecting forward and ahead to the 10th Senate, the 10th Senate now, let's be specific to the Senate now and leave the lower legislative chamber and focus on yours. In terms of leadership quality, you know, let's begin with leadership quality and then we'll move to other aspects of quality as well. But leadership quality.
Yeah, so far,
yes.
there
What would you expect if you were to set a template for the leadership of the 10th Senate?
Yeah, first and foremost, we have come through a leadership in the National Assembly in the last 4 years that is progressively cooperating with the executive branch of government. And that has led to rapid improvements in the delivery of dividends of democracy to this country. Contrary to what happened in, let me say, the Saraki, you know, Senate presidency. And so what we have gotten from the Ahmed Lawan leadership is an improvement from what transpired before he came on board. And progressively, I see this 10th National Assembly, you know, developing from that standpoint to a more robust and cooperating National Assembly leadership with the executive branch of government for the ultimate benefit of the country. And so for me, I would wish that my colleagues, and from so far from the pre-National Assembly sittings, from my interaction with many of my colleagues, I see everybody showing concern about having a harmonious working relationship with the executive branch of government without compromising.
Yes, I was going to chip in. I hope we're not going to say rubber stamp as well. Would that even be possible with the current composition of the 10th National Assembly?
It is achievable. APC, my party, is still the majority in the National Assembly.
Yes, and I know
so
that.
we are going to drive the National Assembly towards achieving a harmonious but not compromising relationship with the executive branch of government. Let me tell you, everybody who is elected into the National Assembly, either as a House of Reps or Senator, knows that the ultimate goal of this country is for us to generate development and create a robust economy for our people. And so, united by this common goal, it will be a lot easier for us to sit down as leaders of this country to chart the way forward. It doesn't matter whether you're from Labour Party, from PDP, SDP, wherever. So I don't see any hiccups in this process. I am a very optimistic person, and I believe that the Asiwaju presidency too is also an advantage to the present dispensation because he has been a senator. The vice president has also been a senator, in fact, a serving senator who has been elected as vice president. So what else? What other ingredients, you know, for a good...
This is a legislative presidency.
Yeah, and so we're already home and dry with the two gentlemen that are going to drive this country as leaders of the country. There is no room for any, you know, acrimony whatsoever. And given the experience of Asiwaju as a governor who had also related with the assembly at that tier, he will also reciprocate that knowledge, that understanding, and that ingenuity at the presidency in a manner that the National Assembly will have a stable leadership and then there will be purposeful engagement with us.
I like your optimism.
Yeah.
And I hope that with the composition of the 10th National Assembly, even though your party still holds the majority, we're getting other parties. We're getting other parties, you know, increasing.
We're already talking among ourselves.
But that's not my point.
We are talking among ourselves.
Yes.
We are talking even before the inauguration.
Outside, before we came into the studio, I recall you saying something like you already have a platform. So there's engagement already. So you're beginning to set agenda for the 10th National Assembly. And that is very, very progressive, I must say. I must say. So we are expecting a robust 10th Senate. That's what you're confirming to us here.
Yeah. That will not compromise her autonomy, her independence. Is going to be a balanced, mutual relationship that will benefit both the executive and the legislative arm of government for the benefit of Nigerians.
And lastly, in terms of quality of bills that we're likely to see.
Oh yes, yeah. I don't see any problem with that, because I've seen many of my colleagues with people with the best pedigree, and I'm optimistic. I'm telling you that we have been talking among ourselves, and
yes.
I haven't met a senator that does not understand the issues, and so I'm comfortable.
I'd like to thank you so much for coming on the mandate,
Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much.
Dr.
Yes.
Titus Tatange Zam.
Thank you so much.
I'm very sure that your middle name.
Tatange.
Tatange.
Very pregnant. Tatange means earthquake.
Wow.
Earthquake.
Okay.
Yes.
So you've just shaken our studio. Thank you so much for coming on.
I've not. I've shot somebody in Government House in Benue State.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of the NT, I'd like to wish you good luck.
No.
And of course, you're going to be here in Abuja with us. We will be inviting you to the studio.
It's a great privilege to be here. It's a great privilege. And I assure you, I will always honor your invitation.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. To have a great day. Thank you.